The EBERSPA Luge World Cup Tour continues with our second men's doubles race of the season in Innsbruck, Austria. Beautiful look at the Tyrolean Alps forming the backdrop of the nearby city of Innsbruck. We're in the charming little village of Eagles, just up the hill from downtown Innsbruck along the Patrick Mountain, and one of the most famous ski runs in all of the world next to this bobsleds and luge track. Welcome again, everyone. I'm Tim Singer, coming to you remotely this weekend. Let's look at the specs on this track, which is really doubling as a construction site over the next couple of weeks, next couple of years, I should say. As they moved the start area, you see right there quite a few meters above where it used to be. A good look at our track animation. Women's doubles already in the bank as the Austrian Selena Egla and Lara Kopp captured that race, and certainly Austria among the favorites in today's doubles. That's the new start house right there. There's actually not even a building or a changing area. It's simply a place where the ramp starts the sled. Through the Kreisel, there's the curve 8-9 combination, which is always a big one on this track. Then a lower labyrinth, which takes these athletes to an uphill finish. Track record is 46.694, set yesterday by the American young doubles team en route to winning the Nations Cup. It's great having the drone with us on tour all season long as we get some beautiful pictures of this track. Not a lot of winter scenery around those pine trees, but this is a beautiful area. Great forest between even the little village of Eagles and the track. Temperature is slightly above freezing, but the ice is being maintained well so far in this second of 3 races today. Warm welcome to our viewers around the world checking out the action on our YouTube channel. We welcome your questions, your comments, your complaints, or we'll ask you a few trivia questions along the way, and we'll see how astute our luge viewers are. Happy holidays, one and all. 20 sleds in today's competition. Poland will be leading things off, a very competitive team. Nagma and Malaya will be followed by the Americans, a young team, probably the talk of the tour so far in the early going. But look out for Stoy and Kindle. They were on the podium last week. They're on their home track now. Frankly, Austria and Germany have been far and away the dominant nations of sport luge over the past decade. Getting ready for the action as these coaches and athletes prep, warm up. Yep. They get the runners ready.
Yep. Have fun out there. You can do it. You'd like to say a few words. Sir, sir.
Dana Kellogg will be racing for the Americans. Carolyn telling them to have fun out there. That's what it's all about. But this is work for these teams who spend all year training, working on their equipment, start simulations, roller sleds, whatever it's to be sharp come the start of the World Cup season. The Latvian spectators on hand. They travel to Innsbruck quite a bit. It's not an uncommon sight to see Latvian fans really at all of the tracks around the world. Opening things up from Team Poland, Wojciech Kimilewski, Jakub Kovalevski, 29 years old and 30 years old, respectively. They finished third yesterday in the Nations Cup qualifying, and it's a good time to tell us the new start procedure, the protocol for this year in doubles. The top 3, 3-2-1 from Friday's Nations Cup race gets the top 3 positions in the World Cup race. After those 3 go, then you have the entire seeded group, 12 sleds. They'll be followed by the remainder of the Nations Cup qualifiers. On course, Kovalevsky, team Poland. Last year they finished 15th in the World Cup standings. That included a 14th finish here. They opened up last season with a 12th in Lillehammer. Here on the World Cup at a few select races. A little hard off of curve number 9, but staying off the sidewalk. 70 miles per hour. Poland to the finish in a time of 46.6. As a point of comparison, that's about 3/100ths of a second off the track record. So records very well fall. Come on, how many events do we cover every year with the record set? It is amazing. Year in and year out, same track, with different conditions, maybe better equipment. And here, of course, records will fall fairly often because we have a new track, literally speaking, with the new start. Now Ivan Nagler and Fabian Malaya. It was here in Innsbruck in 2018 where they were clearly the 3rd or 4th in the depth chart on the Italian doubles program. But they had such a great result here. They had such a great final couple of events before the Olympic team was named. They were a surprise entry onto that Olympic squad. I believe they finished 7th in Pyeongchang. And here they have to start open things up. Here's slide number 2 in the World Cup. Nagler and Malaya, both former not terrible natural track luge, which has world at the FIL. 50 kilometers an hour, that's 54.2 miles per hour, well into the middle of the track. 36. International Luge Federation's executive. It's one of the 3 or 4 greatest names in the history of Südtiroler hier im Eiskanal Innsbruck-Igels. Ja, Bahnrekord werden wir heute noch öfter hören. Das werden wir auch gar nicht, glaube ich, so abfeiern, erst wenn es dann wirklich ans Eingemachte geht. Denn wir wissen es ja, oder wenn Sie es noch nicht wissen, ich sage es gerne noch einmal, wir haben eine neue Startanlage, eine neue Starthöhe. Okay, now we get ready for our 3rd sled of this competition, and as I said, this is the pair that have been turning a lot of heads over the last couple of weeks. It's USA teenager Marcus Mueller, 19 years old, his 20-year-old teammate Ansel Haugshaw. Last week in Lillehammer, they set a track record in the Nations Cup. Then they had the best time of the entire race, but that was in the second run after crashing. Yesterday, another track record in winning their 2nd consecutive Nations Cup. So let's see what these junior world champions can do now that they're on the senior circuit. Can they contend for medals this early? By all indications, with clean runs, they can. But in the early going here, they're in the red. Only the 3rd fastest start time of the 3 sleds. This is where their magic has happened in the first couple of weeks down at the bottom. And a nice exit of 9. They were a 1/10 of a second back in the last week. Now they've taken 7 turns off, so this should turn green really soon. Magical sled, great young athletes. Lose out by 1,000th of a second. They miss out on the track first place, but they found a lot of time down at the bottom of the track, and that's so well over the last couple of weeks. Maurizio writing in on the YouTube chat saying that they have surprised a lot of people. They surprised him as well. They're young and they're strong. There's no doubt about that. Mueller and Hawkshaw in second place, the early going. Fun to watch this team as they develop over the next several weeks, next several months, next several years. Here's the Olympic team from the USA, the doubles team that represented the United States in Beijing. Zach DiGregorio and Sean Hollander, 1 World Cup victory. That was to open last season in Lake Placid. All told, they finished in a tie for 7th World Cup overall last year. Along with that first, they had no other podiums, but 4 other top 6 results. Both live in Lake Placid, New York. That's really where the United States program, even though they do have a facility and a pretty top-notch program as well at the track outside of Salt Lake. A lot of steering by back. First couple weeks, pick up time down at the two teams separated by 1,000th of a second at the top. 4 down. And it's Italy, USA, USA, and Poland. Zach doing a lot of steering, doing a great job of averting a danger, but losing time in the process. Look, that young American team turned heads last week in Lillehammer. Certainly this one veteran German athlete did as well. Tony Jaeger, the winningest World Cup luger in the history of the sport. Tony, with his partner Sasha Benniken, captured 54 World Cup races. Year off, came back with a new partner, Florian Mueller. All they did was win the World Cup over there last week in Lillehammer. 6 years old, from the city of Suhl. Flo Mueller, originally from Saxony of Germany. This team is only their 2nd World Cup race to be obviously thinking about it as if you're off, as if he never the new God. Look at that. Devastating run. 28 and Florian into the lead, and that could hold for a while. Keep in mind the Austrians are still coming up, 3 Austrian sleds in fact. But that was an impressive showing by Tony, who took last year off, spent the year with the USA team, as well as continuing to work on his pilot's license. That's not piloting a sled, that's piloting an airplane. Now Baberček and Zumi of Slovakia. They do not figure to be anywhere close to Tony and Florian. And at this split time, they are back by already 23 hundredths. Berček and Sumi of Slovakia to the finish of 46.881. Marion and the coaching staff seems somewhat pleased with that. Last week they finished in 15th place in the World Cup opener at Lillehammer. That would have gotten them into the sprint if there were a sprint. There isn't this year. The sprint has, at least for now, been replaced by the mixed team competitions. That was a lot of fun in Lillehammer, and they will resume with Oberhof, Germany, and the final one in Pyeongchang, South Korea. Yannick Müller and Armin Frauscher, the first of three from Austria. At the very first World Cup event live streaming, it was back in the fall of 2015 here in Eagles, Armin Frauscher, at the time a singles athlete competing in his first ever race, had a top 5 result. He was really never ever able to replicate that. Maybe one podium in singles, so he moved to doubles. He and Yannick Müller have had it, including a victory on this track 2 years ago. In the red, Tony and Florian really put it down, but the Austrians are keeping it very close at the moment. They were within 100. Do they lose? Do they gain? They kept it about the same. Second place time right now, pushing the Italian back to third and fifth. Not a surprise.
An die zweite Stelle sind sie da gefahren, also das haben sie die zweitbeste Laufzeit abgeliefert. Also da kann man zufrieden sein, nur 500 hinter Toni Eckert und Florian Müller zurück. Aber jetzt geht es weiter mit zwei
One Austrian team down, several more still to come.
Sobald ich sie schnappen kann, werde ich
Rita Keinswaldner, like so many in doubles luge, these are two former competitors. Made the shift to doubles, but now it's been about 5 or 6 years that these two have been part of the doubles program. And two penalty. Manuel, 31-year Whitson. Like so many team, they base themselves and train out of Mirance, which is not that far. A little over 1 hour. To the finish, 46.642. Down in that coaching area. We'll see Sandra a little later today in the women's singles event.
Also nur der 5. Rang für die Cityroller im Zwischenklassement nach 8 gestarteten Schlitten. Und jetzt geht's weiter mit den USA.
Mit Dana William Kellogg und Frank Aiki mit der Startnummer 9 geht's oben weiter.
Yeah, there's another look at Sandra. So we move along with the doubles competition. This is the second stop on the World Cup a little later this season. Next week, Oberhof, Germany, then the holiday break. And then we'll resume action with races in Germany and Latvia prior to the World Championships in Whistler. Dana Kellogg and Frank Ike of the United States, third from the USA. Not too many nations are bringing three out on the World Cup Tour this year in men's doubles, at least yet. Kellogg and Ike had a little bit of trouble last week in Lillehammer, but then they came through with an impressive top 8 result in the World Cup race. Everyone trailing the German. Americans trying to keep it tight. 1500's back. Little correction on the right wall out of corner number 9, Dana Kellogg. Now these two athletes based in Lake Placid, New York, 20 years old. Place time just behind. Let's see, we have the USA currently at 4, 5, and 7. As we near the halfway point here in run number 1 of the men's doubles.
Die Deutschen bzw. die Österreicher auf Rang 3 dann die Südtiroler allerdings schon 26 Hundertstel zurück und auch die US-Amerikaner 26 Hundertstel, also nur eine Tausendstel hinter den Italienern gemeint sind. Markus Müller und Andrew Hawks. Ja, aber jetzt geht's weiter.
Trying to get the chat back up on my screen, so bear with me for a second. From Latvia, Edvards Miklaševics and Lukas Krasts. Both living in Sigulda, in Latvia. No less than 6 Latvian doubles teams have been on the podium over the past 10 retired Sheets Club, time Olympic medalists. Ooh, a little bit of an issue out of quarter number 9 for Latvia. And a big skid and a first sled of the day to have trouble down the lower left. They do get a finish time 48.108. That incident happened very close to the, which you see right behind them, the red line on the track. They're okay, they're unstrapping themselves. And as always, there are plenty of track workers and other attendants, including Ukrainian spectators, getting ready to help them out of the track. We've had years where the lower S section here caused all sorts of trouble. There were no issues in the women's race or so far in the men's, but the trouble may have happened right there out of curve 9. It looked like Edwards got it together with 10. Then the final S curve number 14, 15 combination came back to bite him.
Okay, aber wenigstens sind sie ins Ziel gekommen und können eventuell im zweiten Durchgang noch einmal starten, wenn sie sich nicht verletzen.
Okay, there's generally a bit of a track hold. Make sure A, the athletes are out and safe, but B, to see if the track itself has been compromised. Greatest ever. I've said this a lot, I will continue to say it. This is without dispute. The two Tobis, Toby Wendel, Toby Alt, both out of Berchtesgaden, Bavaria. 6 Olympic medals, 3 in Olympic doubles, 3 in Olympic team relay. Both 37 years old. She's married. They are, in effect, a married couple, luge style. They know each and every move. Really, that's Jaeger Mueller run so impressive. One German team has been sliding together for 6 months, another for 25 years. They do have a little bit of an issue on a curve number 9. Perfect order to keep up with their German teams. 1500s back. This is probably looking at a 3rd place at best. No, 6th place. That's one issue out of curve 9. Just a bit unusual for Toby Vendel and Toby Alt, who finished 3rd in this race last season. Together, they have 53 World Cup victories. That's only one behind the Egert Bennigan team. But when you add the Olympic World Championship victories to their resume, it's close. But the trophy's likely the best ever.
Machen wir weiter. Schauen wir, wer die Nächsten sind. Das sind die nächsten Deutschen. Die können es jetzt besser machen. Die beiden Jungs aus Zelamelis. Hannes Olermünder und Paul Konstantin Schuler.
3rd and 3 German teams now on ice. Hannes Olermünder, Paul Gabitz. They won their first ever World Cup. Track. It's a super competition. You're number 3 on the depth chart in Germany. Over your shoulder. These are young, getting ready to spot them. And each team brings at least 4 teams, but not as a qualifier. A bigger issue than the Tobys. They're 11 points up.
Das ist zu viel für die beiden Jungs aus Zelamelis. Schade, Auswahlgruppe 9.
Here in Innsbruck last year, they finished in 4th. So off to a rocky start here in Eagles in run number 1.
Ja, hoffen wir, dass es die nächsten beiden oder die nächsten 4, wenn man so möchte, jetzt besser machen. Jetzt gibt es nämlich zweimal Österreich. Los geht's. Startnummer 13, hoffentlich die 13. Glückwunsch für Juri Gatten, Ricardo Schöpf aus Österreich.
Here's the second of 2 Austrian squads for hard paddles for Juri Gatt. His teammate Ricardo Schuff. Gatt and Schuff, 3 World Cup victories, a World Championship, a surprising world title last year in Altenburg. The World Championships last season were in Germany, but the Austrians really spoiled, to a degree, the German party with victories in several of the races. Looking really good. Good lines. They know this track so well. They're in the green by only 9 thousandths of a second, and now they developed a team that was looking as if it would challenge Egert and Mueller. They get a finish time as well, 49.240. Fascinating, and I'm wondering what kind of issues are happening down there now, the lower S curves that we didn't see earlier in the race.
Ich sage ganz ehrlich, Alex, ein völlig unnötiger Fehler. Die waren gut auf Linie, aber dann also ist es ihnen irgendwie entglitten.
Start was good. Certainly the top half of the track was very good as they were in the lead for a while.
Am Kohlgrund zu Alteberg haben sie Gold gewonnen letztes Jahr. Sind leider Gottes ab und zu noch immer fehleranfällig, aber wenn sie ins Ziel kommen, sind sie bei den Allerschnellsten mit dabei. Und jetzt rutschen sie mehr oder weniger, sehen wir das.
Unfortunate for Austria. You're okay. That's good. They're back at 13th place. Everyone has had a finish time, by the way. And Coach Christian Iantliak, former technical director of the International Federation for years, before returning back to the Austrian rugby. Last week, Stoll Hindle opened up the season with a third-place finish in Lillehammer. Last season, in their first season together as a doubles team, they won the World Cup overall title with 3 victories, 5 second-place finishes, 2 third-place, all but 2 races. What a great maiden season for these Austrians. Let's see if they can keep it up with the German team that took the lead early onto the top spot. Hundredths of a second. This should turn here out of Kreisel into curve 8. It does turn green. Now curve 9. Tomasz goes perfectly, but this lower area problematic for the last several sleds, including the Austrians. Looks like they go. About 1,000th of a second. Folks, this is going to be a phenomenal race. Germany lead, Austria in second place, and another Austrian sled is 500th back in third.
Auch die Österreicher, aber aufgepasst, oben sind noch die Trainingsschnellsten. Martin Vogts und Robert Blume aus Lettland.
Ja, und jetzt sehen wir, wo die Tausendstel verloren gegangen ist, genau hier. Da hat die Beine runternehmen müssen, ganz kurz.
Terrific. Terrific pace here. You know, when the lower start happened and these runs were over 39 seconds, it wasn't that uncommon to see races close, but not this close. And now we've got the longer start. We've got the 46-second runs, 1,000th of a second. Now we get set for the final team that probably figures to challenge for the podium today. This is the team from Latvia, Bats and Pluba, Olympic medalists in team relay out of Beijing. Bats and Plume, both newlyweds, both got married over the summer and celebrated by finishing second last week in the World Cup opener behind Egert and Mueller. 25 years old, both living now in Sigulda. Actually, Roberts lives not too far in Baltasares. And they've been on the national team since 2020. In the lead, 300ths of a second. Class of the field are the 3 teams, Stoy, Egert, and Bats over last week's racing, and they're continuing to pick up where they left off. Maybe this will be 2,000ths of a second up. Actually, they're trending better than that. A track record, 46.151, and a scream from the Latvian spectators down at the finish as Latvia takes over the lead over Germany and Austria. They did it well at the start, they did it well at the finish. It was the 6th fastest start time, but great coordination by the 2. Corner number 9, that's about as pure a line as you want, and great sled position by Martins on the top. So the leaderboard as it stands now, and will likely stand for good, at least through the rest of this run. Latvia, Germany, Austria, Italy. That's the top 5, followed by 2 from the USA, and Wendell Alt of Germany in 8th place. Now we've moved back to the qualifying group. We're done with the seeded athletes, and Devin Wardrop and Cole Zajanski had that dreaded first out from the seeded group. If they had finished one place better yesterday in the qualifying, they would have started very early in this race. As a result, they get start number 16. So the two Bulgarians are on track now. The lone doubles entry from Canada, at least in the first half of this season in men's competition. Quarter of a second back at the last split. Now they're hoping to keep it just within a half second. So they do keep it within a second, 47.056, but only faster than the two early sleds that had crashes down at the bottom. So 14th place right now for Team Canada. Their goal this year, Devin says, to consistently improve race over race. Cole's goal to be better than last year. And for the record, last year this team finished 18th in the World Cup standings. Last week they finished in 13th, so they are improving ever so slightly. Let's see what they can do in the number two.
Wie gesagt, Fehler darf man sich keinen leisten. Weiter geht's mit der Sakai, Yukai und Wu aus China.
China has brought a big team onto the World Cup this year. Something like 16, 18 athletes in all of the disciplines, although when it comes to racing, World Cup qualifying, or even sets active at the top tier. Bio and Hugh, both season, the World Cup will end. China stop himself. See the Asia. Often they build it. World Cup will stop. So those programs going, that is terrific. We hear sitting there, not really starting China has brought in some Western coaches with experience of years. Norby Hoover, the doubles Olympic gold medalist, coaching China for years. American 20 Matchshot was with the program for many years. I'm not sure this travel this season. Have 20 of gone. 18 will qualify for 2. Last week, in this team from Romania withdrew from the race not long before it started. Marian Chitland and Darius Saban. So this is their first World Cup doubles action of the new season. Last year they finished 17th. It's the best result 3 times, 15th place. 2 weeks open the season and a 15th. For the Latvia to close the season. Here, 15th place is a possibility. More likely. Nicely done. Out of 9. 9, corner number 2. Romania making its way to the finish. Spectators surrounding this.
Was sagst du zum Rennen bislang?
Mir gefällt es saugut und es
The
sind
team relay.
unglaublich viele Menschen da. Es macht unfassbar Spaß, an der Bahn entlang zu gehen und im Auslauf zu stehen. Also ich erwarte grundsätzlich immer nur das Beste von Innsbruck und das wird erfüllt.
Das wird definitiv erfüllt, wer den Willi nicht kennt.
Welcome to our viewers watching live on YouTube all season long. Come to you every run, every sled, every weekend on the World Cup. FIL Luge. Also access to stream the FIL Luge racing. And four sleds in the second in a row from Romania, Stefan Mondana, Sebastian Ultra. Efficiency already his biggest challenges over the years, aside from not having trying to have state-of-the-art equipment to keep their sleds fast. Back. In advanced doubles back in 1992, not a lot to do. We finished fourth in advanced doubles. Bill, come on. 50 per second. Leaders. Teams. What will be here run number 1?
Diesen neuen Zielauslauf hier gestaltet hat, denn vor allem die Fox und Skeleton hatten immer wieder Probleme hier in Innsbruck, hier rechtzeitig zum Stillstand zu kommen.
Really well done. Sometimes there are years when certain parts of this track are treacherous, and then years when someone take 29, that's bad. Splash badly. Work so far with some skidding, a little bit of a wall tap, a loose. Now we'll find you see those Ukrainian flags fly on the YouTube chat. Next we have Igor Hoy and Nazary Kachmal. Hoy from Kamenets, Kachmal from Lviv. Last week, also something out of the best result on the World Cup, 13th place. Track still looks like it's in pretty good condition. Again, these are just not challenge at the top. It'll be close. It's going to be a 17th or 18th. 18th. Analysis says great to see. Now we're seeing those Ukrainian flags. Thanks, Natalia, for that on the YouTube chat. We'll be a little more active in run number 2 and ask you a couple of questions. Maybe a little online live survey. Thanks so much for joining in as we wrap up run number 1, our second of 3 races in Eagles, Innsbruck. Times are pretty tight as Latvia takes over the top spot. Look at only 1/1000th of a second separating second and third place. Mueller and Frauscher, they're also lurking just outside the podium. And the Americans and Wendell Art will look to crack the top 5, if not the podium, in run number 2. It is 20 minutes past the hour, 20 minutes past noon in Innsbruck, Austria, run number 2. will kick off in about a half hour, 29 minutes away. We'll resume the action. So grab an early lunch or a late cup of coffee and come rejoin us for the second and final heat of men's doubles. The EBERSPA FIL Luge World Cup continues on YouTube TV.